Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. And as we all are here connecting, I just want to say thank you so much for showing up today. I'm just so happy and grateful that you're here. I'm going to go ahead and just introduce myself very briefly and go ahead and then share my screen so that we can all be here together. So as you're coming into if you want to type in the chat your name and where you're zooming in from, I would be greatly appreciative of that. Just I know that there might be people around from the United States or other parts of the world, and you just never know what connections you may find here. So again, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Jennifer Underwood, and most of my clients call me Coach Jaylay. I'm a certified life mastery consultant and a dream builder coach through the Mary Morrissey Brave Thinking Institute. And today, what I'm sharing with you is one of our signature programs called Standing Firm When Your World is Shaking. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. And beautiful. So again, I'm Jennifer Underwood, and I am so happy to be here serving you today. And welcome to the Standing Firm When Your World is Shaking webinar. How many of you, raise your hand if you have ever felt like the light is not shining in you? A time that sometimes can be referred to as the dark night or the dark night of the soul. I know I have my share of those. And for some of you, you might be experiencing a profound loss or a hurt in your life, maybe a health challenge. And to help you through these uncertain times, I want to demonstrate and show you today a proven structure of support that I provide through a coaching program called Standing Firm. Now, this is a powerful process that helps us navigate through that experience of a profound loss or hurt in our lives. And the principles and the good news is that the tools from this program have been proven over the past 40 years, and they have helped thousands of people around the world really be able to look at those dark moments and those challenging situations and really receive them and move through them with incredible resiliency. My intention today is to share with you some of those powerful tools so that you can reclaim and be able to transform your current situations or circumstances or conditions into possibilities. By the time you leave here today, and you will be empowered with the 3 tools to help you live from the point of power from within, no matter what circumstance, situation, or condition you may be facing. Now, I also would love to be able to offer you greater clarity on how to find hidden blessings and treasures in those dark times, and some strategies to harvest the good, find your hidden blessing and that buried treasure in this circumstance for yourself and your soul. And my hope is that you walk away feeling more calm and ready to transform your current circumstances into possibilities so you can have the situation without it having you. So first, let's go over the purpose of this program of Standing Firm. It is designed for someone who wants their life to go forward, but they cannot dream because they're so stuck in a circumstance or a situation that happened in their life. That circumstance could be a death of a loved one, an experience of someone stealing your money, or a business gone bad, or even somebody breaking your heart in a close relationship. That story of what happened can vary, but the common theme that we find is loss, shame, regret, disappointment, or heartbreak. So you see, the universe speaks to us through 2 growth signals, through our longing and our discontent. We experience that feeling of longing when it's something that we haven't yet created, right? And we feel that discontent when the current circumstances are something that we don't prefer. Now, both of these, the longing and the discontent, are catalysts for growth within us. So I invite you to take a moment and take a look at the list here and focusing on the column of pain. For some of you, myself included, we may be feeling overwhelmed. It's at the beginning of a new year, or uncertainty of what is coming, or some clients that we may be wanting to do, or some project that we may be wanting to start, but we are uncertain of how that's going to look. Or maybe we find that there's lack in our life, that we just don't have enough. Make a note in your journal or on a piece of paper and write down that word or words that are something that's showing up for you right now in terms of pain. And if you're wanting and willing, I invite you to share here in the chat as well with us. So for me right now, there are some moments of overwhelm and anxiety, and also a little bit in terms of feeling stuck as well. So that's just for myself at this current moment. Now take a deep breath with me. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And let's move over to the column of vision, right? This is the column that you could also see that this is your longing. What is it that's pulling you forward? And in this column of vision, I invite you to take a look at the words and make note of which ones really resonate with you right now in this current moment. Some of us may be feeling that we would love to be more organized. We would love to have better health, or we would love to feel more patient and flexible, right? Whatever that looks like for you, I just ask you right now and invite you to take a moment and reflect and write down what that word or words could be for you. And again, the invitation, you can always write it in the chat as well. And we're here to hold witness and to be able to hold the space for you. Now, remember that whether it's the pain or the problem or that burning desire for something new, these two energies are essential for creating new results in our lives. And as a life mastery consultant, I meet people along my coaching journey that need this particular program of transformation because it helps them build a bridge from a place of bitterness around what happened to a place of empowerment around what happened. So now let's take a look at our mindset. As you move through the lessons in standing firm, you will empower yourself to change your life by implementing the proven principles in this program. And the best way to do that is to become a great student first. So as you go through this program, you will learn the transformational system by applying it to your own life. Now, this program is designed to provide you with all the tools you need to travel through the rough terrains that life can offer and help you to remain for when the world around you is shaking. Over the 4 weeks, we'd be exploring the technology of how we navigate through these times in our lives when it may feel like the light is not shining on us. A time that is sometimes, again, referred to as the dark night. We will discover that the dark night will birth the next larger version of yourself. So let me share with you just briefly each one of these sections. In the first week, we covered the dark night. Now, during this week, we'll be looking at the possibilities and potentials and how we can have our circumstances without allowing them to have us. We will learn that the dark night experience is inevitable for us, meaning that all of us have had or will have or are having one of these moments in our lives. But there's also a time when something greater is seeking to emerge through us. We'll learn how to harvest the good through those circumstances and what they have to teach us. And we'll learn how to use those circumstances to create a new beginning. The truth is that each of us has had or having or will have one of these dark nights. It just looks different for each of us. These dark nights could be something public or it could be something private to you. No matter what your dark night is, know that it is challenging you to be a greater self and for more growth in your life. This may be a dark chapter, but it's not your whole book. It's okay to have a dark night, but don't let the dark night have you. You can choose to nurse, curse, or rehearse that hurt, or you can choose to glean the learning out of that experience and move forward. In the second week, the hero's journey, our journey, during this week, we explore the hero's journey and all of his components. We develop tools for traversing through some of the tougher times of life when it looks like life is all lost. We will discover some of the spiritual principles that support us in standing firm when our world is shaking, including how to build spiritual muscle, taking the long view and being called to higher ground. According to Joseph Campbell, who wrote The Hero with 1,000 Faces, there are 3 major phases in the hero's journey. There's the departure, the initiation, and the return. If you have seen any of those movies, it could be any of those animated Disney movies, or it could be one of the heroes movies. These are the 3 phases, and that's exactly what we each as humans go through as well. So think about a time when you may have had a really, really dark time, or maybe you're going through one right now, and see if you can identify with one of these phases. The first phase is a departure. And at the departure, there's some sort of life that you have known. This can occur in two different ways. It can be that you have the call to be more expansive in life and you honor it and you go for it, or it could be that you refuse that call. Now, if you answer the call, in general, things tend to go more smoothly because you don't have as much resistance. But if you refuse that call, then that life that's seeking a freer, fuller, more expansive expression through you will seek out a different route. This alternative route will have some unfavorable circumstances or situations that may look like something outside of our control, because the expansion of life is always bigger than our refusal. And the next phase is your initiation, and it starts with what is called the road of trials. Now, the road of trials is where you're tested and you find yourself vulnerable to this new situation. Oftentimes, you may not feel bigger than the situation that you're facing. Actually, the challenges feel bigger than you. This is part of the process because as you go through this challenging time, you will reveal a part of yourself to you that you didn't know existed. Remember, that acorn has to shed its shell in order to sprout and become an oak tree. And the final phase is the return. And with that return, you don't come back the same person. After going through this hero's journey, you are not the same person you were before. You began because through the process, you will gain more personal power, develop greater abilities, and receive higher wisdom. This is the true gift of the journey because you become in the process can never be taken away from you. The opportunity you have right now is to take another look at one of your dark nights, even if you feel you have completely blessed it and are done. Taking one more look and ask if there are gifts that are yet to be received from what you have called your dark night of the soul. And in the third week, harvesting the good, this week is about harvesting the good that challenging circumstance came to bring us. It's about allowing our experience to take us forward rather than take us down. It's about making sure we get the one thing it came to teach us. We will discover that when our world is shaking, we respond by either using it to take us forward or to take us down. You will learn the tools for harvesting the good when a challenging situation comes your way. Now listen carefully. I said when, not if. We all receive challenging situations. It's how we respond to those that really makes the difference in terms of what the results are going to be in our life. When we find that the out world is shaking, one of two things will happen. Either our ego will make up a victim story about what happened, or we will frame the situation in a way that is empowering to us. If we let our ego attribute blame to ourselves or others, we're most likely thinking about the circumstance as it is happening to us. When we approach the difficulty from the mindset that the dark time is happening to us, the general feeling is that experience is victimhood. And as long as we're a victim to that experience we're having, we amplify its power and extend the time we invest energy into it. Now, choosing an empowering perspective about a dark time in your life is what standing firm is all about. To take this higher perception, you stand on a firm foundation that there's nothing outside the circle of God's good. This means that there is nothing outside the circle of this too can be used to move me forward. It's part of my evolutionary path. Your dark nights are here to help you discover and deliver a greater version of you, because the content of your life is the curriculum of your growth. Now remember, unless you have some things to surmount that look bigger than you, you will never know that you are bigger than them. What you want to do is neutralize the emotional charge of your dark night by discovering the gifts and the learnings you can gain from them. When you neutralize the emotional charge, you free that energy to be used to move you forward. You will either use your dark night to take you forward or to take you down. So choose to take yourself forward. And the week 4 is the opportunity for a new beginning. During this last week of standing firm when your world is shaking, we will learn that we never really complete this work because we're in this world of circumstance. We're human beings having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings having a human experience on this planet. The opportunity to apply the things we've been learning just gets more deeply ingrained in us as we move forward in life. Life sends us soft signals, and if we don't pay attention, we're going to get some stronger signals from the universe to help us ultimately stay on course with our own soul's pattern or our life's purpose. If we learn to pay attention to those soft signals and ask ourselves some key questions, we may be able to avoid the jolt. During this week, we learn how to pay attention to life's soft signals, how to create structures of support for change, how to decide for the life you want, how to access your inner sanctuary, and how to create true beginnings. Now we have the opportunity to turn our dark night experience into a new beginning, but only if we use it well. Using our dark night experience well means many things. It means that we learn from our experience so that in future circumstances, we can recognize when life is signaling for us to get back on course. Paying attention to those soft signals and honoring their message in many cases allows us to avoid a major event that would be in the beginning of another dark night of the soul. Remember, it's not if life is sending us soft signals, it's what are those soft signals? And using your dark night experience, well, also means creating a support structure for the changes you would love to implement in your life. Willpower is ultimately not enough to cause us to change our lives. We can sustain an important change for a little while. Then we often find ourselves slipping back into our old patterns of living. With a real structure of support, there's an exponentially higher chance of success in changing our lives. Making a decision for the life you would love and learning to connect with your inner sanctuary where you're protected from the elements of circumstance are the next steps in this process. Deciding for the life you would love helps you design clear destination in mind. With a clear destination, it becomes easier to notice when you are on or off track. And along the way, living the life you would love to live. You will most likely encounter some challenging situations. This is where your inner sanctuary or your point of power comes into play. With a solid center to return to, you can overcome these challenges with grace and ease. And finally, using your dark night experience well means learning to see the true meaning of your dark night experience. TRUE is an acronym that means think, release, use, and expect in a way that moves us up the ladder of our becoming. And through this process, you will find that your dark night of the soul has an experience for you to grow into a higher version of yourself. Because the content of your life, again, is the curriculum of your growth. And now remember that the energy that you put into this program is directly proportional to the level of results you achieve. So I encourage you to study the material diligently and then take small action steps towards your dream every day. You are ready. This program is proven and will absolutely help you live the life of your dreams. This is your time. This is your time to increase your immune system and optimize your health. It is your time to feel connected, supported, and loved in the relationships that matter most to you. It is your time to be highly productive and harvest all the opportunities available to you to bring forth your full potential. And it's time for you to discover how to tap into universal freedom and flow and access all the ideas, resources, and support you desire. So if any of this has resonated with you, I have a gift for you. The Standing Firm program has been professionally appraised at $2,000. And during normal times, the investment is $997. However, right now, at the beginning of this year, I want to make this an easy and as possible of a yes for you. I'd like to offer a 50% fast action scholarship, which makes it only $497. And if any part of this has resonated with you and you're a sacred yes to make a new change in your life, the next step for you is to send a text message to me directly at my phone number, which is here on the screen, 202-256-3329, with your name and yes to SF, Standing Firm, and claim this gift for yourself. This is a dream. This is the vision of your life that you would love to live. And I look forward to supporting you every step of the way as you create a life that you love. Again, my name is Jennifer Underwood. Most of my clients know me as Coach Jaylay. It is an honor to be here, and I'm so happy and grateful that you took the time to be here present with us today. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop the recording and open it up to see if anybody would love to ask any questions. I can open up for Q&A, and you can just raise your hand or comment in the chats.